What I found so intriguing about antique maps and prints is that they combine an interest in history and a beauty of art. These were often the second tier of artists earned their bread and butter by engraving, and they did a wonderful job. Here is a fabulous map of Spain that was done circa 1606 by Gerard Mercator, the famous author of Mercator's Projection of the World. And this is the original color as it was done in the early 17th century. It has these wonderful sailing ships and some sea monsters in the water. If I had known that these existed, or stopped to think about the fact that these existed when I was in college, I would certainly have done some sort of thesis on using maps, antique maps and prints as a springboard to my study. But I didn't. Fortunately, I found them within 2 days of handing in my senior thesis, and went to work for a somewhat notorious dealer where I learned a lot in the course of 13 years of running 2 galleries for him. And he had lots of material like this, and I have pretty much the same kind of inventory that he had then. This is another Mercator map, same thing. It's got original color. This original color has oxidized a bit more than the other, meaning that the copper content of the green coloring has turned a little bit brown. I love it because it's a sure showing that this is the original color, but there are some collectors who prefer to have their maps this prettier color and these prettier greens. So there's always kind of a balance in terms of determining value and what will appeal to people. So there's 2 maps by Gerard Mercator. They're just the only ones that I thought to pull this morning because they're so beautiful and so early. But one of the great things about antique maps is that you can find maps, particularly of Western Europe, from as early as the late 1500s that sell for a couple of $100s. And if you know the area, you'll recognize, even though the spellings probably will have changed and some of the geography may be slightly different than what we know it to be now, it's interesting to see what the area looked like at that time and how it was depicted. And it's so little money for something that dates back 300 years.